Recently, the topic of difficulty has popped up in the spotlight because of a certain journalist and their laughable attempt at playing Cuphead. You see, there's a modern cliche that comes about, like clockwork, trotted out by lazy games journalists who can't be asked to think more than half a thought in advance, and it's this. X is the Dark Souls of Y. So Cuphead is the Dark Souls of platformers, and Dragon's Dogma is the Dark Souls of RPGs. Although I admit, I thought the Dark Souls of RPGs was Dark Souls. But there you go. I'm not kidding. I have an article on the screen right now that says Dragon's Dogma is the Dark Souls of fantasy RPGs. My reaction was an instant, should we tell them? Saying a game is the Dark Souls of X is a lazy, uninspired cliche, and so I will not be mentioning Dark Souls again throughout this entire video. Now, I've heard people say that every game should have some form of difficulty slider. Hell, I recently read a post somewhere saying difficulty shouldn't be an obstacle, or that games shouldn't be hard for the sake of being hard, so that more players can pick up and play the entire game without a challenge. This is the same thing as getting a medal for turning up and participating, isn't it? No wonder civilization's in such a mess. And to me, that just removes the entire point. I'm someone who loves a challenge in games. For example, as I'm writing this, I'm currently doing a Nuzlocke in Pokemon Gold, with the extra modifier that I'm not allowed to use items in battle, and because of that extra rule, I've lost my starter and 3 other Pokemon. Along with that, I'm currently going through Halo Combat Evolved on the Master Chief Collection on my stream, and it's on Legendary. Why? Because the challenge is fun, because no matter how many times it kicks my ass, the moment I conquer it, it feels glorious. And while we're on the subject of Halo, the developers of the game, or at least Bungie, referred to the easy mode in Halo Combat Evolved as Grandma mode, which I find funny. Although, when I was growing up, I only ever played the games on easy. Maybe we need a new games journalist difficulty setting to replace Grandma mode, where you press a button on the start menu and instantly win. How times have changed. But getting back onto the subject of difficulty, while games like the Halo franchise have difficulty sliders, a lot of games don't. Let's take Crash Bandicoot N-Sane Trilogy for example. There are no difficulty sliders in any of the 3 games, and I wouldn't change any of them in any way, because while they are hard games, they are good games, and I feel that adding a difficulty slider would take away from that. The games are designed to be a challenge, and the games trust you to get better as you play, and if not, you can keep trying until you succeed, and once you do, it feels glorious. Take that challenge away, and you take away the opportunity for players to feel like gods for beating it, neatly turning gaming into the same beige awfulness as everything else in life. But as I said, I play games for the challenge. I like things to be as hard as possible. A good friend of mine, on the other hand, plays more for the story, and so almost always plays on Grandma mode. You've met him in these videos. He's my subtitles guy. For instance, he did a rage quit on XCOM Enemy Unknown before playing it again, mastering it, and calling it one of his favourite games of all time. And then there's his Terraria run, where he came up with the cunning plan of draining the ocean into hell to make a boss easier. And then he built a bridge across the entirety of hell, murdering the wall of flesh, and got trapped away from his house because the pillock put a bed down in his beachfront outpost, respawned there, and couldn't get past the new hard mode enemies. Did he rage? Did he cry? Did he complain? Well, yeah, a lot. But he didn't quit. He fought his way back and decided to build an underground highway to avoid the nasty stabby unicorns. And that friend, that subtitle guy who now has to do my bidding, even he agrees that hard games shouldn't be made easier. They shouldn't be dumbed down for the likes of him, because while he might not like those games, he's not arrogant enough to think he outranks the millions of people who do. As he himself has said, if you give Dark Souls an easy mode, it is no longer Dark Souls. And it was him who said that, not me. So technically, he mentioned it and I wasn't lying about not mentioning it in this video. Because his Terraria example kind of proves the point. People are at their best when fighting against adversity, when they have something to conquer, something they can achieve with their own skill. Telling them that they shouldn't get good is telling them that they can't get good, and that's doing them a massive disservice. You're telling people that they're shit, they'll always be shit, and they shouldn't strive to be good at things. And treating people like babies who permanently need their hands holding strikes me as a tad wrong. But yes, thank you very much for watching. I am AutomaTitan, and in conclusion, sit down and stop telling people they're wrong for liking hard games, and stop trying to cut the edges of everything so it fits into your personal universe where everything is a safe amorphous blob and nothing interesting or innovative ever happens. And in the words of one of the greatest men in human history, a man who did more for the cause of peace than many others, Gandhi, get good, scrub.